I am at the National Gallery of Canada, where we just had an opportunity to recognize 12 artists who were selected as winners for our Defining Moments art contest and collection. Their work is being featured here in Ottawa at Winterlude in Confederation Park. And I'm so excited to be able to celebrate such a great group of individuals who have expressed their sense of Canadian identity, their aspirations, their challenges, and their visions for the future.
I've learned from all the moments when there's nothing to fear. When you laugh so hard you feel yourself being brought to tears. Well, I am this country's you and me. And in every bird song I know this is where I'm meant to be. But I am this country's you and me. And in every bird song I know this is where I'm meant to be.
Hi, we're here in Ottawa at Winterlude, and on the main stage we just heard the lovely voice of Caitlin Purvis, who's from Stratford, Ontario. And Caitlin, thank you for being here with us today. How does it feel?
It feels really great. It's been really awesome to be able to share my songs and sing with everyone, and so it's been a great experience.
And so what is this award and recognition by Defining Moments meant for you personally?
It's really been, I guess it's more of like a personal achievement. I've been really shy with my songs and everything, so I guess it's just really, it's a nice step to be able to put myself out there and share my thoughts and my feelings.
Maybe they've got skyscrapers, but honey, I've got shores and mountains that reach the skyline. What more could you ask for?
Kathleen était ici dans le cadre de l'exposition Moments décisifs, c'est une exposition d'œuvres d'art de jeunes artistes du Canada. Ils sont installés juste ici et aujourd'hui jusqu'à 3 heures, les artistes vont être sur le site pour répondre à vos questions. Si vous voulez savoir au sujet de leurs inspirations, leurs idées, de leur point de vue par rapport à notre pays, c'est votre chance de le faire.
I'm here with Rosanna in front of this incredible wheat field, and how does it feel to have worked on this in sort of your quiet space and now to be talking about it with so many people who are obviously captivated by your image?
It feels great to be finally out in public, not living in isolation, and knowing that this piece can mean something to someone else other than myself, which is the ultimate reward as an artist. It's the point when you lose ownership of your piece and it becomes the property of whoever is viewing it and their memories and their associations. So yeah, this is great.
I think that when I think of myself as an immigrant, I start to wonder if we all feel like immigrants. We've all moved here at some point, whether it was us directly or whether it was our parents or whether it was some ancestor down the road. And we all seem to be struggling to understand our Canadian identity. So in the end, I kind of feel like I'm in the same boat as you. It's taken a few years to realize that. I always felt like the stranger and the oddball. But identity is something important to all of us and a struggle for all of us. For an immigrant, what happens when you leave your country is that you give up your friends, your family, your institutions that affirm your identity, that affirm who you are. You give all of that up, everything that's familiar to you, and you become displaced in a new country. And why are you doing this? Well, I think a lot of immigrants have this in common too. You do this for new beginnings. You do this for a fresh start. You do this for something different. You might want to be leaving something behind. There might be more opportunity here, or you might perceive that there's more opportunity here. So the adoptive homeland becomes the idealized promised land. This kind of struggle for identity, as difficult as it is, especially for my generation and all of us, I think that we can consider this a good thing. Because we are searching for it, we can have things like this get together, and because we're searching for it, it generates openness, it generates learning, it generates change, and these organizations like TIG, Taking It Global, that are organizing projects like this. So I just want to end by saying thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been a blast.
From the place you were when you started and you created this, and now after spending this weekend with people from across the country, what are some of your reflections on your Canadian identity, and is it transformed in any way?
C'est la diversité beaucoup de toutes les réflexions qui ont été proposées par autant les artistes que les gens. Cette diversité-là qu'on ne connaît pas nécessairement, c'est quelque chose de très propre un peu à l'identité, je pense. Cette quête-là de l'inconnu qui est pourtant si proche de nous. Puis déjà à travers mon travail, c'était ça le principe, puis encore dans la perspective que j'entrevois l'art en général, et d'aller poser des questions que les gens ne sont pas habitués nécessairement d'entrevoir dans le quotidien. Puis juste de le tweaker un peu, like to tweak the daily reflections of people that are not in art context, so to bring the art context into another social part and to go with these questions. Again, no answers, just questions.
Comment votre reconnaissance de la communauté de Wapmagouchoui s'exprime-t-elle à travers votre travail?
Actually, je n'avais pas la connaissance de Wapmagouchoui. I didn't know the place at all. Still don't. So that's just an image, une traduction finalement de... J'avais une amie qui était à Wapmagouchoui et qui m'a téléphoné pour me dire les couleurs et aussi m'envoyer des photos. So she sent me colors by telephone. And then I wrote them down and they became words. And then those words were translated through my perception of the color. Et ça donne des couleurs qui sont dans les teintes. Je ne sais pas si c'est comme ça pour vrai. I don't know if it really looks like that, but anyways. Alors, je ne connais toujours pas Wapmagouchoui, comme je disais, mais je le connais à travers cette personne qui a été dans la communauté. I still don't know Wapmagouchoui community, but I know it through my friends' thoughts. We have our ideas on Canadians, we have our ideas on Quebec people, we have our ideas on Aboriginal communities, but they're just often stereotypes or images through medias. And like that Skidoo guy, lots of people think it's an Inuit, though he's not.
No matter what community you come from, especially disenfranchised communities, so people of color, Indigenous, LGBT, differently abled folks who may not have access to the same things that other people may have, art can be created out of anything. And art is a fantastic mode to tell your own story, and that is the core of social change, is to tell your story.
Something that made this Canada Day really special was sort of our journey getting there. My girlfriend and I, we'd been dating for about a year, and I asked her out on Canada Day with all the fireworks and things like that. And, I don't want to have to pay for fireworks. I coordinate my efforts to go with the Canada Day celebration. So there's something about Canada, about this sort of pioneer element to it. So much of it is so untouched, and there's a bit of a struggle trying to manage to get between all of these big spaces. And I think that's kind of mirrored in these lights that they have in Canada Place. There's sort of these small towns and small cities that are sort of spread out over this vast space. And flying here from Calgary to Ottawa, I spend most of the time just looking out of the plane, and there's just so many huge spaces with just nothing, just maybe a few roads and things like that.
It's given me great exposure to show my art and talk about the issues that are relevant to my photo.
And has being with other Canadians from different parts of the country had an impact on you?
It's been very inspiring to be around so many artists who have great stories as well as different styles of art, and it's really motivated me. Well, I hope to pursue photography and have more photos around issues in the Arctic and how it faces kind of the Aboriginal people as well as the world and the environment.
It's so important part of our Canadian identity, both of our heritage, but also about moving forward as a more united country. And so the photo kind of embodies the generosity of their spirit and their eagerness to share their culture.
And like, how have people reacted to your piece? I know it's the original is an animation, but people come to you with any questions or reactions?
Yeah, just sort of asking about kind of some of the imagery and sort of what that might symbolize, and so I've kind of been talking through it as best as I can, and and a lot of just people are sort of interested. A lot of questions about the Northwest Territories and sort of how people live up there, populations, and so it's just been kind of fun talking about my home territory and educating people a little bit, like being able to talk with sort of like-minded young Canadians, and just sort of getting different perspectives, and it makes me want to travel a little bit more.
Well, I was going to ask, what's next?
I don't know, just sort of maybe getting out. I think I might take a trip to Newfoundland. That's a part of the country. Like I've been to Nova Scotia, but when I was there, I missed Newfoundland. So I think I'd like to get up there and have a look at another part of the country that I haven't really been to yet. So
we're also shy, but we're extremely talkative when we're provoked. There's a really strong sense of community up there. Everyone knows everyone, which can be both a delight and a detriment. And we project a real sense of inferiority, I think, while maintaining a sense of superiority on the inside. And it's just all about stories, really. Like, when you go up there, there's this sense of, storytelling. You learn about how to live up there through stories. And I think for people who move to the Northwest Territories, there's this real desire to belong. There's this desire to become a Northerner. And I think that happens with a lot of people who move to Canada as well. There's this desire to become Canadian, so they brandish their hockey sticks and their jerseys, just like people up north brandish their parkas and their mitts and everything. And so I think being someone who was born and raised there, there's just this sense of, who am I, what do I mean to the rest of Canada, and how can I project that to other people, while at the same time feeling a little bit isolated from the world as a whole. And I think that really influences my art and makes me always wanting to get out there and meet new people and try new things, but at the same time sticking true to who I am, what I do, and the way that I do it.
So what's been your favorite part of Winterlude and this whole weekend here in Ottawa?
It's so hard to choose. I really enjoy meeting the artists and even just new people and exploring Ottawa. I think Ottawa is a beautiful place so far. And there's so much to do. The National Art Gallery, that was wild. Everyone's speaking of their own experiences from where they're from. For example, like Aiden speaking about what it's like to live so far north. I think that's really inspiring that people have so many different ways of living in the same country, and it's just so refreshing to just have so many different perspectives.
Has it made you want to visit another part of the country?
Yeah, just everywhere. Everywhere,
I too would like to thank TakingITGlobal for all of this. This whole trip has just been like mind blow after mind blow. And also just the way they've represented our photographs. I think they've really represented us incredibly accurately. Through my artwork, I think that's how I come to be able to create imagery, is through taking symbols and kind of trying to understand like how I can take a concept and represent it through symbols.
My parents moved to Canada from Croatia just after they got married. They experienced so many obstacles that are extremely difficult for me to even imagine, but I'm so grateful and privileged to be here in this beautiful country. While Croatia is also beautiful and has a rich background, I understand that with Canada comes like a lot more amazing opportunities that my parents chose to take part of. Their struggles with learning English make me eager to understand new languages. Their courage to leave family and friends behind to start a new life makes me want to experience the thrill of traveling. And their hardworking childhood makes me appreciate all the good things that my life in Canada has to offer.
I've definitely wanted to travel all over the world before, and I never really thought about exploring Canada further, but now, like, hearing everyone's different stories and experiences in different parts of the country, I definitely would like to experience that.
By coming here, I think what changed my ideas of the most was the stories from the different artists here. So I found like just compiling all the stories makes such a strong
because I guess the idea is that
storyline for Canada.
like if you have a very
it's really
tight
interesting.
knit,
Like you hear everybody.
And being recognized as an artist have you got any new ideas or inspirations for what you might do next?
Well, I'm always creating, but this piece actually inspired a lot of work, so yeah, like being part of this.
And so, like when they were new, they would have.
So what has this award meant to you personally?
I don't know, it's just been a great experience just knowing that my art has been across the country, and just within this context with these other artists, it's just, I don't know, it's just a great experience. It's just kind of overwhelming in a way too. It kind of leaves me a little speechless. So it just kind of hit me this weekend too, just like realizing how big this was. So it's great.
And has it inspired you to think about what's next? I mean, what's next for you?
For sure, and just to see, or just thinking of how my art can have an impact in other ways in this kind of context, and where it could go in the future. So yeah, it just makes me motivated and very optimistic about opportunities I have in the future.
I just want to reinforce that the NCC's role is to make the capital representative, and to make the capital a people place, and to make the capital have meaning, and to make the capital somewhere where people feel Canadian. And you talked a lot about identity, the struggle for identity. You talked about the sense of place. You talked a lot about also I was struck by the idea of the personal identity as well. And one of you was mentioning that all these stories, the storytellings and the stories, and all these stories are important to tell. And what I think, on a personal note, and I'll put aside my NCC hat, I think what is so strong is the storytelling that is happening here in the capital through you, and the meeting place that are created. And one of the things that is very important for us at the National Capital Commission, and pour la capitale, I'm going to do like Jean-Philippe, passer de l'un à l'autre. It's to also make sure that more and more the capital is a place where young Canadians, youth and young adults, find themselves, see themselves, self-define what the capital is for them, and part of it is through giving youth, and so I'm getting to the answer to the question, is giving youth spaces where they can express themselves. And for that can be shared with all visitors, not just youth, but with all visitors. So through performing spaces, through exhibit spaces, through spontaneous spaces, through built spaces where things can happen.
Hi, my name is Jamie Nichols. I'm an MP in the House of Commons. I represent the area of Vaudreuil-Soulanges. Je suis le député de Vaudreuil-Soulanges. But I started off my career as an artist. I did my Bachelor of Fine Arts in Painting and Photography at the University of Victoria. And I have to say, I'm floored by all the confidence that you show, and the ease with which you share your stories and talk about your work. So to address this question, how can we further support young Canadians in understanding, exploring, and expressing their identity? I think this is a great start, this forum. But also I think that we should be providing more opportunities for young people to visit different parts of the country. And I thank to all of you for sharing and keep it up. Your optimism is infectious. And I wish you a strong career in the arts, and I hope that as a federal representative that I'll be able to promote and augment the arts in Canada for everyone. Thank you.
You are at the very leading edge of that because you're expressing confidence in your identity. You're expressing that in these images that you've attributed to how you define yourself as Canadian. And I think that's the very next step of that confidence is, okay, well, how can we contribute? How can I contribute to making life better, making the world better as a result of that? So I'll leave with that challenge, and the final thanks also to our hosts, Canadian Heritage and this wonderful facilities and National Capital.
I can lay out on are, but I am